Last year, our first game featured the Clarkston Wolves and the Troy Colts. Clarkston was shut out in the first half and tried a second-half comeback, but they were no match for Troy's defense, and they met again in the playoffs with the Colts on top again. Under Coach Gary Griffith, the Troy Colts have always been a well-disciplined team. Leading the pack is Kyle Rance, who returns this year as starting quarterback. Rance and his Colt teammates brought the state championship home to Troy. Can they equal their success this year? We'll find out tonight as the Troy Colts take on the revengeful Clarkston Wolves. The TCI Sports High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight from Troy High School, it's the Troy Colts hosting the Clarkston Wolves. Hello, everyone. Dave Zorin along with Joe Abramson here to kick off the 1995 football season. And, Joe, a rematch of last year's starting and initial game of the season last year, and a great matchup again.
Oh, yeah, a great game last year. Well, Troy kind of showed early on this is the team to beat. They won 14-6, and Clarkston's touchdown came late in the game. They played again later in the year in the playoffs, and Troy won 14-0. Clarkston only lost 2 games all year, both to Troy. Troy went on, won the state championship. And with 13 starters returning, they're picked number 1 in the state by both the Detroit News and the Detroit Free Press.
Now, the Troy Colts come back strong this year as opposed to the Wolves. The Wolves lost a lot of players, Joe.
Lost a ton of players. 3 starters returning on defense, 0 on offense. But from everything you read in the papers, Coach Richardson doesn't sound too concerned about it. He's ready to come out. I don't think either team likes opening with a league game, and I'm sure Clarkston does not like opening a league game with the number 1 team in the state.
And, of course, this game features 2 strong quarterbacks and great athletes, Joe.
Well, yeah, Dane Fife, a sophomore for Clarkston. This is his first varsity start. His older brother, Dugan, holds all the passing records here. He had been a 4-year starter. Dane's on his way to being a 3-year starter. Fortunately for him, in a way, he's a new starter with 10 other guys, so he doesn't have to prove himself as much. It's a learning process for all of them.
And on the other side, Kyle Rance, a very strong quarterback who also plays starting defensive end.
Yeah, he can do pretty much everything. He's starting defensive end, starting quarterback, ranked the 13th best player in the county regardless of position. And he's such a great athlete. He's a basketball player and a baseball player. There are colleges talking about recruiting him as a tight end. Coach Gary Griffith figures he's the kind of guy you can slot in wherever you need him. If you need a tight end, give him a shot there. If you need a defensive end, you put him there. But he's got a lot of talent, and expect them to throw a little bit more than we've been used to seeing Troy do in the past.
Well, there you have it. When we come back, we'll have the kickoff for you. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the kickoff of the 1995 football season.
It's the way you inspire. It's the way you grow. It's the way you lead. It's the way you play. It's the way you work. It's the way you discover. TCI. It's the way you learn. It's the way you learn.
What TCI is looking to do is we're looking to be a full-service provider, a one-stop shopping place, if you will. We're looking to provide all the services that anyone wants to consume in the area of communications, whether that's cable television, whether that's telephone, whether that's data, online services. Our goal is to be able to provide all those through one avenue, and that avenue being TCI.
On the Master Anglers, we bring you the hottest fishing action around the state of Michigan. From tips and techniques to advice and stories from the pros, the Master Anglers gives you the info you need to catch the big ones. Plus, it's just plain fun. That's the Master Anglers, Thursday nights at 8 on TCI Channel 63.
Welcome back to Troy High School. Dave Zorin along with Joe Abramson for the kickoff of the 1995 football season. as the Troy Colts will set it up to kick off to the Clarkston Wolves.
Clarkston Wolves ready to receive.
I'm sure after last year, about the last thing Clarkston wants to see is Troy, but then again, if you can win the game, you pay them back real quick.
Not a great way to start the season. It would be like the Wolverines taking on Notre Dame to start the season like they did so many years, and it's not a great way to start the season when you got one of your division foes the very first game.
It's hard to make the combination. As you see last year's records, again, those 2 losses from Clarkston, both to Troy. Troy's one loss was, I believe, to Waterford Kettering, 10-7. Yeah, it's tough enough to have a league foe and then have it such a tough team from Clarkston's standpoint as Troy. That's just a double whammy for you.
And we're underway. The Wolves having trouble taking O'Meara's kick, and finally brought down at around the 20-yard line is Fallon, Brad Fallon.
Number 22, Brian Kretschmer. Dave Price, number 23.
Our officials this evening: Leo Flynn,
Number 29, Troy
Rick Welzine, Lyle Sanderson, Tony Biscup, and Mark Bauer, the linesman.
And now we get to look directly into the sun for the next half hour and try to get these numbers right.
Facing west, right into the sun, and this field positioned really in a north-south position, and this wind coming from the north. So Clarkston going against the wind. The pitch going back on the first play of scrimmage for the Wolves. Not much there for Chapman. Ryan Chapman, a safety also defensively, starting at tailback this year, the senior, 6 foot 170.
And Clarkston, we talk about this tough opener. It doesn't get any easier next week. They play against Pontiac Central, who is also one of the top teams in Oakland County. You can kill yourself right out of the playoffs in the first 2 weeks if you're not careful, but again, you can also get some momentum and have the rest of the world fearing you the rest of the season.
Dane Fife, the sophomore starting quarterback, sets up for the Wolves. He goes back to throw a short pass, and twisting and turning and picking up the first down is Wasilk, and Tim Wasilk, the senior wide receiver, doing the job there.
Yeah, there's a connection you probably have heard for years and years in Clarkston, more in basketball, Fife and Wasilk together. And here you see the replay, a quick hitch, and he turns and gets some yardage after the catch. And right now, you take advantage of that midfield area. That's something Gary Griffith's a little concerned with. He's got that great, what one of the papers has termed Catholic League-style defense, but he is a little worried about his linebackers right now. It's the one part that hasn't picked up to the level he wants just yet.
Clarkston, no returning starters on offense, so they start from scratch this season. And number 22 on the carry, DeGain, Joe DeGain on it, and he was sacked for a loss of about 3 or 4 yards. 3 yards, it'll be second and about 13.
No, they tried for a quick hitter there in the Troy defense. That defensive line, it's probably the only way to even try to get past him is with that quick hitter, but they're so big and so talented.
And the quarterback, Kyle Ranch, you saw him on top, number 6, coming around also.
Yeah, and we asked Gary Griffith before the game about, is he actually going to start on defense? And he looked at us like we were nuts to even ask the question.
With his size, he said, sure he is. And he is, starting at defensive tackle. He got his arm up that time, and the pass incomplete out there, intended for Wasil. And the Colts cover that one well. It'll bring up a 3rd and long now for the Wolves.
And that is where that size comes into effect. The guy's 6'6", 214 pounds, I believe. And we watched in warm-ups when he'd come in on defense up there, and you'd see from behind the quarterback, it's really hard to look for your receiver with all that mass in front of you.
And that has been a trademark of the Troy Colts, that big size on that offensive and defensive line the past few years.
Yeah, and they have to replace some guys like John McCall, who I believe has gone on to Central Michigan, but, the talent's still there.
3rd and about 13 for Dane Fife and the Wolves. Drops back quick opener on a slant in, and nothing there. Gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Let's see what he picked up.
It's not going to matter.
Bigger gain than that, but it'll be 4th and about 5 coming up.
Well, it's one of those things. This is what most teams go through against Troy. The usual theory here is if you can score once or twice, you got a chance because their offense doesn't score a lot. But you never know. Right now, they're playing very smart, though, letting Fife take a 2-3 step drop and get the ball away quick, and not have to deal with a pass rush just yet. He's a sophomore in his first varsity start. They don't want to overload him just yet with that kind of pressure.
The snap is low, but getting it off is Mark Teague, and it falls short at about the 40-yard line and dribbles inside the 35. Ball at about the 33. And 1st and 10 there for the Colts. Kurt Richardson, the head coach of the Clarkston Wolves.
And I'm sure he's going to try to do something about this schedule making in the near future. Because again, this is the kind of game you don't want to belabor the point, but if both these teams could go undefeated, this would be a great 6th or 7th week matchup.
There's Gary Griffith, the head coach of the champion Troy Colts, state champion Troy Colts, and their first offensive possession of the year coming up here.
And again, picked by most experts to repeat, which is something I'm sure they're not thrilled with. You kind of don't want to be picked for that. It's a lot better to do what you did last year and come up and surprise people. And there was a penalty.
Penalty flag dropped back at the 40-yard line of Clarkston, and they're going to mark this off against Troy. So the offense will come back out for the Wolves, and the defense will go back out there.
Let's see what the call was.
Let's see if we can hear the call.
Holding on Troy during the kick. 10-yard penalty. Clarkston gets a first down.
There it is.
As best as I can interpret that ruling, it's holding, which is technically an offensive penalty on the return, but because Troy never took possession of the ball, it was never a post-possession foul. Therefore, it's still Clarkston's possession as the foul occurs. It might be what they're discussing once again.
And the ball is just shy, right in midfield, just shy of the line. So midfield for the Wolves on their first possession now, and that works out very well.
You know, Gary Griffith brought up an interesting point I think will affect both teams as well. It's been so hot in August that these teams are not in the condition they want to be in because they couldn't practice as long as they usually would.
Here's Fife back to pass on a quick drop back. And he unloads down about the 20-yard line, intended for Wasilk.
Yeah, well, he got nailed by Jamal Kassar as he threw the ball. And that's the first time he took more than a 3-step drop and tried to go deep. And that, again, I think is why they're not going to do too much of that. He's going to be on his backside every time he does it against Troy. That's a lot to ask of a sophomore in his first start.
Yeah, that was the deepest drop back that he had so far. All the passes have been short. Slant ends.
Quick hitters, too, though. He had to wait for that receiver to make his move.
2nd and 10 now. The pitch goes back to Chapman, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage. No gain. It'll bring up a 3rd and 10 now for the Wolves and Dane Fife.
Well, that time Joe Conley came in and closed it up real fast. You take a look at this run. Doesn't even see the line of scrimmage. There's Conley coming from behind and making the tackle.
And watch for that fumble. He looked like he didn't have real good control of the ball.
Well, I'll tell you, you read again in the Free Press, I believe they had some coaches quoting saying that, well, Troy's playing Catholic League defense. What they really mean is more specifically Catholic Central defense, and you just don't run on it.
3rd and 10 now. Rolling out is Fife. He's got receivers flooding the zone. Intended downfield and caught. Tipped and caught downfield by Dave Price. By Conley, Brad Conley.
Well, that was Adam Adkins who tipped it. Could have had the interception, but he is a lineman, and they don't do that. Let's take a look at Fife rolling out weak side. And he's going to turn right here, and this is a hard throw to make. He's got to turn, square his body up. Right there you see Adkins tip it, and it's like you designed it in the playbook.
Conley came down with the catch. Brad Conley, a junior wide receiver and defensive back at 6 foot 160, gives the Wolves a first down just inside the 40-yard line, about the 38. Chapman on the carry, plunges forward for maybe 2 or 3 yards. It's about 2nd and 7 coming up.
Well, and again, like I say, you just don't run on a defense like this. You do it occasionally because you have to, but you are not going to succeed unless you can get that passing game going, which so far Clarkston's doing.
Clarkston mixing it up well with balance of pass and run here. 2 receivers split to the bottom of your screen. I formation in the backfield for Fife. Now 2nd and 7. Fife, quick drop back, now will roll out, feels pressure, unloads downfield, a low pass, and he caught it. Wasil caught it.
Yeah, well, there was pressure coming from both Conley and Adkins. And Fife did a good job to get out of the pocket and find the open man. You're going to see Adkins coming right from your right side. Conley's going to come from around as well. A great catch by Wasil.
Good catch by Wassaw, positioning himself.
About 3rd and 4.
Third and about
3 or 4.
4 yards, yeah. 3rd and 4 coming up now for Clarkston. They have eaten up the clock, 6:27 and counting left here in the first quarter. It's been all Wolves so far. Chapman off, tackle bounces out, could have the first down. Let's see where they mark it. Looks like he's going to be a little short.
Well, I think you go for it here unless you've got a great kicker.
Stop by number 52, Aaron.
Let's see, he's about 1.5 yards short. It'll be 4th and about a couple yards coming up. 4th and 2.
And I also think you roll out pass.
5-4 of 6 right now for 34 yards passing. Not bad.
Ball is on the Troy.
Showing a lot of poise. And with the kind of foot speed he's showing getting outside, a rollout pass here, I think, gives you the most opportunities to convert this 1.5 yards.
Full house in the backfield now for Clarkston. And the whistle goes. Could it be too much time or lining up offside?
They might have. You know,
delay of game, yep.
I'll tell you another thing. It may have just been an honest penalty.
Yeah, the time you want to
foul, delay a game on the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
You also
there it
wonder,
is. The time you might want to delay of game is to draw them offsides,
right.
Not at that time.
Well, they might have been trying to draw them offsides then, figuring that they're going to throw anyway, but now they're going to punt.
Well, that's pretty much what we're doing, looking right into that sun as the Troy Colts trying to battle it on the sideline. 4th and about 7, and they're going to punt this one. Shame for the Wolves. They couldn't get anything going on that drive. They ate up a lot of the clock. And receiving it, and look at this. Not too many Wolves down the sideline, and Chuck Connor almost took off.
Well, and Tim Wisser knocked him out of bounds, and I don't know if you remember Chuck Connor last year against, I believe it was Chuck Connor against Adams. Had a couple of big plays.
Let's take a look at the punt here by Teague.
And right here, he's catching it on the run, head up. You're going to take it to the outside, and there is nobody except right there, number 3, Tim Wisser, to knock him out of bounds.
Good job by Connor to even catch that. He could feel pressure coming in from his right side, and he still chose to catch that ball. Here we go. No score, and the first possession for the Troy Colts now. Kyle Rance, the quarterback, handing off to his tailback.
That's Teron Adams.
That's Teron Adams, 5'10", 180, the senior. Highly touted this year. He's got 4.5 speed.
I'm looking forward to this because this is the guy who scored both touchdowns in the state title game last year. Had a tremendous season, and before the game, Griffith told us he's at least twice as good as he was then. I'm thinking, well, that's going to be pretty hard to do.
They're going to showcase him today.
And also one of the top 20 players in Oakland County.
And a big gain on that first down carry. 2nd and about 6. Picked up 4. Rance to throw. A quick pattern out to Connor. And Connor close to a first down. He may be short by a couple of yards, but the Colts now on the move on their first possession.
Quick hitter, and he had Ryan Chapman backed off a little bit, and you've got kind of speed Connor has. You have to respect him. Get the quick hitch, which is the same thing Clarkston did on its first passing play.
And a good pattern. He just picked up the first down. So the Colts 2 plays, and they pick up the first down.
And if you remember, that sets up something in the future, something deep.
And that would be Drew Patrick if they do go deep. Patrick, one of the key receivers to look for. Here's Adams on the carry, maybe 1 or 2 yards, but it's stacked up right there by the Wolves.
Yeah, right now, Clarkston's coming out with their version of a Catholic League defense, not letting you run on them.
Gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 coming up now for the Colts. 4:10 left here in the first quarter. No score. And the Colts on their first possession. Ball at about the 40-yard line.
2nd and 9 for the Colts.
Kyle Rance with an I formation. The man in motion is number 21, McCormick. Rance, quick pattern, and he hits Drew Patrick out there. Patrick close to a first down the sideline.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to give McCormick a lot of credit for the gain after the catch on that. If you watch that play, he goes in motion, and it's really a pick play. I don't know if you're going to be able to see from here. It's real close, but at the time he catches it, right there, you had McCormick.
And threw a key block to
He started to set a pick, and then once the ball was caught, he threw a block.
So 3rd and a short 2 now for the Colts. Man in motion, Connor. I formation, the tailback gets it. Adams, first down and more. Close to the 45-yard line. He'll go down at about the 46.
I'll give that line a lot of credit and give the fullback Dan Applebaum credit. They opened the hole for him and he got the first down. When you go back to that previous play, that's the kind of play that future opponents who are scouting this game here write that down and tell the officials beforehand, watch that play and watch a pick, because he's blocking before the ball gets caught. And when you really need it, you get on the refs and they call the play and pull that back.
1st and 10, ball on the 46 of Clarkston. So the Colts now getting into Clarkston territory for the first time, and Teron Adams hit for a loss of about 2. It'll be 2nd and about 12 coming up.
Yeah, he went nowhere, largely because of Ryan Schlaff and a few of his friends.
41, Ryan
Great tackle.
Leading the charge for Clarkston.
There was Ryan Kulka also in on that.
The offensive lineman returning for Troy, Adam Atkins, a junior, and Nick Jorchowski. Jamal Xar also.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, easy for me to say. I have to pause there for a moment. One back in the backfield, that's Adams, and 3 receivers now for Rance. Rance looking and had his man Drew Patrick on a slant, and it was a deeper slant, and it would have been close to a first down had he caught it.
Wide open, and tell you something, everything you read about Kyle Rance and everything Gary Griffith talks about him, last year he had a little problem because he's so strong that people couldn't catch his balls. He had no touch. Well, that's not the case here. There was a lot of touch on that ball. It was really a perfectly thrown ball. Guy's got to catch that one.
And that now brings up a 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 now.
3rd and 12.
2:09 left here in the first quarter, no score.
Of course, to his defense, from the angle he looked at, he was looking at the sun.
Fritz sets up to the bottom of the screen, and Appledorn goes in motion. Rance back to pass, has a man open but wasn't looking, and that one he just dumped down to Dave Fritz, but the flags fly, so let's see what happens here.
That's in the backfield. Illegal shift.
Yeah, that was Appledorn who was moving. They had 2 guys moving at the same time, I believe, and that was with Fritz and Appledorn.
Yeah, they'll decline that, and they'll be punting.
Wait, I don't want to walk around you. I don't walk down.
So the Colts now will probably punt it away. Let's see what the Wolves decide here after the penalty.
Correct.
Let's go down to the field.
We have an illegal shift on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
And it will be 4th and 12 and time to punt for the Colts.
It's 4th and 12 for the Colts.
So both teams coming up with lengthy drives. The Colts a little bit shorter than the Wolves, but they're playing right about midfield, and they have to punt.
It's Brian Searing punting this year for Troy.
Searing to do the punting, and back is Wasilk to return.
Searing to do the punting.
Wasilk won't get this one.
Oh,
Well, he does. He gets it. It bounces right to him. It looked like it was going to Chapman, and Wasilk upended at about the 25-yard line.
Yeah, Rob Benson with the tackle, and you thought that was coming to Chapman, and he didn't take it, and then he didn't make the block. And it looked like Wasilk had a little bit of an alley if he got one block. Take a look right here when he gets the ball.
Ball lands right in between Chapman and Wasilk.
Right here, he's got to set a block. There's one block there. He didn't block another guy over. Actually, probably getting on the wrong guy's case because whoever was supposed to be blocking, Benson, just didn't sustain the block long enough.
Ball just shy of the 25-yard line. And the Wolves now send their man in motion. And that's Connolly. Fife back to throw, feels pressure, and sacked for a loss by number 5.
No, that's Kyle Rance got him. That's Rance that got him.
Was it Rance?
Yeah.
It was 6. Kyle Rance in there.
Tackled for a loss.
That monster that got him was Rance.
Yeah.
2nd down and
Thanks,
Quarterback
Joe
on
Sun was
quarterback.
in line. Let's take a look here as Fife feels pressure, gets out of there, and here comes the other quarterback,
Take a look right
Kyle
there,
Rance.
and you could almost call face mask on Fife trying to ward him off.
Rance knew that he had his face mask and immediately let go and didn't want to do that. A loss
They
of
had
6.
each other's face masks.
2nd and 16 now. On a draw. Chapman finds some room and then finally tripped up down there by number 54, Sebastian Atar.
It's a good call there. You don't want to get too crazy dropping back any further with some pass plays right now. You're probably going to have to punt. You don't want to punt out of your own end zone.
So Sebastian Atar comes up with a big play there as Chapman almost broke that. 3rd and 13 now. Clock down to 30 seconds left here in the first quarter. It's been a fast quarter, despite a lot of passing, Joe.
A lot of passing, but a lot of completions.
Yeah. I formation, 2 receivers up top for Fife. Back to pass. Scrambling, getting pressure, and finally brought down. And there is number 55 for the Troy Colts on the sack, Adam Adkins.
And in the end zone with the ball, hoping they're going to give him the touchdown.
Let's see Fife dropping back, Joe.
Yeah, I believe Sims or Petrosky, one of them was in the end zone with the ball, but you see Fife never had a chance.
The first man getting back there was Conley, number 40, forcing him out of the pocket.
That's the end of the quarter. Boy, those guys. It's going to be a long day for Dane Fife if they're going to keep trying to drop back like that.
It'll be a 4th and 23 as we head to the other end of the field as we end the first quarter here at Troy High School. And no score as these two teams are battling defensively. Joe, we've seen 2 pretty good drives, though, for these teams to start the season. And as you mentioned, it's been a hot summer. They really haven't had a chance to really gel. And I'm really surprised Clarkston, with that offense, with nobody returning from last year, took that ball as far as they did that first drive.
Yeah, penalties helped, and they really did just get it going better than we would have thought.
Here he is, Mark Gomez in the Master Anglers program, Thursday night, right here on TCI 63 at 8 p.m.
Big fish.
You can join Mark Gomez as he takes you on the waters of Michigan on the Master Anglers program. He and his guests will give you advice, all the advice you need to reel in a fish just like the one he caught.
It was a big, big fish.
It was a big one. That's 8 p.m. right here on TCI 63, Thursday nights.
I think he's now Master Angler Emeritus.
He could be.
Been there so long.
Yeah, we have to talk to him about that. The punt by Teague gets it out just past the 45-yard line, and getting it is number 45 for the Colts. And look at this. A little jitterbug running there by Matt Zemke. And Zemke comes up big.
And field position for Troy. And this is why they don't need that flashy offense, and they never do. Their defense sets up this kind of field position. The guy gets to field the punt inside the 50. Then they get a good return on top of it.
Zemke going sideways here, but then decides to cut upfield at the right time and springs it.
A couple of great blocks.
And he's finally down at about the 25-yard line. Handoff to the first man, and
Appledorn.
A couple yards there for Appledorn.
And Appledorn, another guy last year, kind of filled in where they needed him. He was a fullback when they had healthy tailbacks. When guys like Teron Adams got hurt, he went to tailback. Pretty much did it all.
Total yards even right now for both teams.
As is the score.
And the score is even. 0-0 here in the second quarter. Just starting here as the clock winds down here in the second quarter. 11:05 left. Rance with the pitch back to Adams. Adams makes his first cut in the backfield and now springs loose. Touchdown, Troy.
You can just see that setting up from the start, the way he moves.
Teron Adams, and his first cut in the backfield was the key one. That's where he felt the pressure.
Yeah, he just faked in, took it out. They didn't have anybody with the speed to keep up with that move. And it's kind of reminiscent of the 2 touchdown runs he had in the state final game last year. And Griff might be right. He might be twice as good as he was.
We saw him on the open in the program with some very nice moves. Let's take a look at this one.
Let's take a look. Here he is. He's going to cut in and juke out. Right there.
That was it. That sprung him to the outside as everybody took that fake. And then this one here.
Just high steps down the sideline.
Got him down the sideline. The extra point is good. And the Troy Colts lead early here in the second quarter.
Well, field position just does it all for you. Here you're going to see him juke out right there. Missed tackle by Chapman. Not really a missed tackle. He just couldn't catch up with him. Then he's in the end zone.
There he is.
He had Tim Wisser trying to get him at the goal line. It wouldn't have mattered. He was already in. And Dan O'Meara had the extra point. And 7-0, that's your usual Troy final. This year, this offense looks like the kind that's going to score more than 7 or 10 points. I think they averaged about 15 a game last year. But if they can get up a little higher than that, they're going to be untouchable.
So the first score coming here in the second quarter with 10:53 left. Teron Adams, 21 yards for the touchdown. The extra point was good. And it's 7-0 Colts.
They got Phelan and Wasilk back there to return the kick, and they're going to need a good return from one of those guys to get themselves some field position. because I don't know how realistic it is to mount an 80-yard drive on this defense unless you get a 60-yard pass play. Maybe
maybe some penalties helping out like the first drive.
But if you can get up to the 40 or so, a 60-yard drive might be a little more manageable. As I think your offensive line is going to wear out before their D-line does.
Here's O'Meara to kick. High and deep to Wassilk. He takes it at about the 5-yard line. Wassilk gets through the pack and almost sprung it out to the 30. So close to the 30-yard line and good field position. The best field position they've had.
Yeah, great field position. Well, yeah, the best field position they've started with. And Appledorn, I don't know if we're going to be able to see on the replay at all because he's in the middle of the pack and just grabs his ankles. That prevented at least another 10 yards. There he is, that's Appledorn right back there. Slowed him up and everybody else finished it off.
And the ball is placed at the 25, so that's the same field position they had on the previous drive. Fife to throw, ball tipped and caught. Looked like it might have been caught down there by Wassilk.
And who tipped that? Kyle Rance.
Kyle Rance.
He's 6'6".
He's all over the place.
That alters everything. Wassilk caught it.
Let's see, there's the tip. And where is it coming down? That's the thing.
In Wassilk's hands.
There it is, right there.
That's 2 tips, 2 catches for the Wolves. But Rance is so big, and those quick hitting passes, you can't be lobbing anything like that. And that's kind of drive you want. 2 plays.
2 plays, 25 yards, 107 off the clock, and the 21-yard run by Adams. And here is a sack by the Colts.
Running back had the ball, but Aaron Miles got there as soon as the ball got to the running back's hands. Yeah.
It'll bring up a 3rd and about 10 coming up.
But again, with Rance, if you want to get over him on a deep pass, fine, go ahead and lob it. On a quick slant, you can't lob it. That's an interception. That's going back for a touchdown.
Dane Fife, the sophomore quarterback.
I'll tell you,
got his hands full tonight going against last year's
timeout. I'll tell you what's going to happen early in the year. Teams are going to decide Kyle Rance is the quarterback. Let's go at him. We'll throw at him. We'll run at him. Maybe he gets hurt, and we get him out of the game. And they're going to give up on that idea, and they're going to go away from him. He's going to have it real easy. And Griffith will adjust his defense accordingly. But his presence on the field is going to be noticed throughout the season.
And, hey, look at this. Coming up, a new program from these guys.
Check this out.
The Roadshow video program.
It's like a King of Hearts.
No, that was the Queen.
A Queen of Hearts?
That was the Queen.
That's a Jack of Clubs.
No, that's a King, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a Jack or something. But
anyway, the Coming Up Roadshow video program will take you to the Renaissance Festival. That's the Roadshow video Thursday, 9 p.m. right here on TCI 63.
That was direct from the...
Are they heading south already?
They're going to the Renaissance Festival.
Oh, that's where they're going. Well, birds of a feather.
Yeah.
And birds of a feather, Pat and Bubba.
And those playing cards are the ones they use at the casino in Windsor also.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And at the Renaissance Festival.
That in itself is worth going.
If it's good enough for Pat and Bubba.
That's right. And spend your hard-earned U.S. dollars over there.
Or win some
Or go to the Renaissance Festival and see Pat and Bubba.
And dressed as playing cards.
I wonder if Bubba knew that was going to be on the show. We'll have to find out. 3rd and 10 coming up now for the Clarkston Wolves. So they call the timeout. Let's see what they come up with. Again, Dane Fife, the sophomore quarterback going against the state champions, of last year. Back to pass. Fife has a little time, throws out of the hands. Right there, though, right on the mark for Wassilk, and Wassilk knew it. He knew it, and he was upset. They called the play, they called the timeout, and it worked.
In fact, as you see number 56 there, Jamie Muttery, he and the rest of the offensive line did a really good job that time. Fife had enough time to find the receiver, get the ball there. It was in Wassilk's hands. And we talked about the drop before where the Troy receiver was looking into the sun, and that might have affected it. This was not into the sun.
That was not in the sun. Give credit to that offensive line of Clarkston to hold off that defense, too, to give Fife enough time. Here's Teague to punt. And taken by Connor. Connor bobbled it momentarily, but look at this. He springs down the sideline, one block, and now they're catching up to him defensively, but look at this. Finally brought down inside the 10-yard line, but a flag is down on the far side of the field.
saw it. I mean,
And let's see what happens.
it was one of those high school clips that.
On the far side of the field where nothing's going on.
No, it was thrown from there. No, this got him free.
Oh, it did?
Oh, yeah,
Let's
this got
take a
him
look
free.
if we can.
But it's one of those where he blocked him in the side.
They're up. Yep, that's a clipping call.
He blocked him in the side, and I think an NFL or a college ref might let this go. 57-yard return is going to be nullified if we can get a look at it again. It's close.
Yeah. It's amazing there, that run. And Joe said that clip sprung him, huh?
I thought it did.
Big break. Let's take a look and see if we can catch it, Joe.
All right, here's your guy with the ball, and we'll try to clear this. Maybe not. There it was up high, and there's no way to really you can't anticipate that coming.
But you saw it.
But again, it's one of those.
And look at this. This is just great running out here.
On the receiving team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's one of those where you literally are hitting the guy dead on his side, and it's a matter of the official's angle, and the official who threw it was on the other side of the field, which is 40 yards away, or 50 yards, depending on where he's standing.
But he's not looking into the sun either.
No,
but
he's looking through a bunch of other bodies, and it looks quick, and if I was an official and saw it quickly, I'd probably throw the flag too.
So the Colts, instead of being inside the 5-yard line of Clarkston, go all the way back to about their 25. Appledorn in motion. They give the handoff to the second back through, and that's nothing there. Adams hit there by number 41, and that was Kolka, Ryan Kolka.
Yeah, Kolka started it off and got a little help from his friends at the end, but Kolka got in there quick. He was unblocked. Mitch Hargett also got in on the tackle.
2nd and 10.
Troy offensive line shouldn't be letting that happen, though. Kolka's 6 foot, 180 pounds.
It was a very slow developing play, and I think that allowed Kolka to keep his ground and wait for the back to come to him. 8 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the second quarter. Rance back to pass, has time, has a man open, first down and more. And a great play, Drew Patrick. He's the one to look for when he goes long.
Drew Patrick's the guy who we got on about dropping the one earlier on the slant. That time, it was a strange kind of route. He just kind of walked out and turned around and caught the ball.
On their 41-yard line.
Patrick now wide open. Look at this.
And trust us, he caught it.
Yeah.
There he is with the ball.
And they finally converge on him. There to bring him down was number 3, Wisser, Tim Wisser. 1st and 10. Ball just shy of the 40-yard line, about the 39 of Troy. Bobbling it, Adams, and he's going to be surrounded. Almost got away from the hold of Mitch Hargett. Mitch Hargett, number 33 on this tackle there.
Hargett was in on it, as was number 43, who's not on our roster, which happens every year. And that was just, the pitch was behind him. He never had a chance to run the play. That was supposed to go left, and the ball was behind him. And really give Adams credit for getting control of that and not turning it over.
Colts, they have been effective in the air. Let's see if they do it again. It's a 2nd and 14 situation now. I formation in the backfield. And split down here is number 34, Belton. They go again to Patrick. And we saw that play in the first quarter. Same play.
This time it's Leonce Belton making the block or setting the pick, depending on when the ball got there. But it's getting them some yardage. And once again, you're probably not going to be able to see where he is. Well, there he is. And again, if you're scouting this game, you're going to tell the refs, watch and make sure he's not blocking before the receiver catches the ball. I know who they play next week. I know that guy's going to be all over the refs early about it.
Of course, they're watching our game. What are you talking
about? That's right, yeah.
6:30 left here in the first half. Rance sends Appledorn in motion. He's got Belton down to the bottom of the screen. Rance drops back down to the middle of the field. Adams, first down and more. One block there, and sprung him out inside the 40-yard line to about the 35. And did you see Drew Patrick try to throw a
smart guy,
a little pick there?
And he was smart enough, though, not to block.
Not to block.
There was a temptation to set a block. Teron Adams he baked right on the route. This was an excellent route. Turns into the middle,
And watch
Now what
Rance
you're
at the
gonna
top of your
see-
screen.
well, or Patrick.
Or Patrick, rather, yeah.
Patrick's coming right here, and he decides not to set that block.
Yeah.
He was going to pick if he came at him, but he did not lay the block out. Because what good's a touchdown if you back it up 15 yards after?
1st and 10 for the Colts in Wolf territory. Adams now does it on the ground.
There's the thing about momentum and the size. Right now, the Clarkston line held up early, and this is a big factor for them late in the first half. They're about to get 5 minutes, 40 seconds away from getting a 20-minute rest, but that huge Troy line is starting to wear them down.
And Adams, again, 2 plays, and now has picked up 7 yards on that one, too.
Of course, this is typical Troy. They come out a little slow because the other team can match up for a while, then their power just wears you down.
Rance takes it himself for the first down.
Well, that's the Kyle Rance we remember from last year when he wasn't throwing the ball as well. Fakes to Appledorn up the middle. He's so big and strong. Remember, he's starting defensive end. He's going to run you over. He's as powerful a runner as they've got in terms of putting the shoulder down and taking you on.
Adams has 7 carries for 36 yards now.
And we got an official timeout for a measurement.
So Rance's carry did not pick up the first down or is close. Let's take a look now on the measurement.
And I'm not sure if it matters. If it's 4th and inches, big deal. Rance is, well, that's first down by a ton.
That is, yeah.
Say the guy's 6'6", he can just fall forward. That's 2 yards.
Yeah. Big guy, and that's why he plays defensive tackle, too. And kind of stunned us the way Gary Griffith responded to that question.
I thought he was offended when we said, is he starting?
Starting at defensive end. A quarterback starting at defensive end.
Well,
I was amazed at that last year, but this year even more so when you've got a quarterback, a senior who you think you'd want to save. Here we go.
Yeah,
1st and 10.
Oh, never a chance.
Nothing there for the tailback. As immediately getting in there, Kolka and
Warchuk, I believe.
Also, number 33 got in there again. We're calling those numbers Mitch Hargett.
Yep. And I think those guys are coming in from the linebacker spot. The line's getting the D-line of Clarkston, but their linebackers have probably moved up about a foot in their setups, getting through a little quicker. Just means Troy's going to have to go outside with Adams or try to throw the ball.
2nd and a long 9 now for the Colts. 1 man in the backfield and 3 receivers split out. This goes to Belton. Belton with a move and gain maybe a 4 or 5. Let's see where they mark it. It is going to be 3rd and about 5 coming up.
Well, you got Chapman with the tackle.
3rd and about 4.
Teague with the tackle. And Jeff Long. You got 3 guys tackling this guy, but Leonce Belton, just a quick hitch out, which is what Troy's been doing. But one thing that's different from last year that was pretty much the entire passing game.
Colts call timeout now in a 3rd and long. It'll be a long 4 coming up for the Colts. And a time to think this one over. They'd like to get on the board again with 4:04 left here in this quarter. Yep.
Plenty of time, and actually with their offense, they can run this thing down to where there's no time for Clarkston to do anything.
We continue our high school coverage next week. The Lake Orion Dragons take on the Adams Highlanders. That's Saturday and Monday at 8 p.m. right here on TCI 63. Don't miss that one.
That'll be huge.
It'd be great to see the Dragons. Last year they had a great season.
And we didn't see them.
We didn't see them. We missed them out.
Oh, I know.
We had that strike-shortened season.
We were locked out.
And we were locked out of our truck.
We lost the keys, and we were locked out.
Joe's fault. Joe lost them, ladies and gentlemen.
Left them at the casino in Windsor with the guys from the Renaissance Festival.
That's it. That'll happen. See, you're out there having a good time.
Won't happen again. They won't invite me back.
That's right. Let's see what happens now. Troy Colts on the verge of getting another 6 here. They had the ball inside the 10-yard line on a great return by Connor, but he was helped by a clip, and that brought that one back.
Yeah.
There's Kyle Rance, 6 of 8, 61 yards. Handing off to Adams. Adams hitting the backfield and then goes down.
Well,
let's see where this one is.
Hargett got the tackle. Chapman allowed the tackle to happen. He contained him, made him take it back inside. I think they might have learned a lesson on that touchdown run. Don't let him get to the sideline. That allowed the rest of the defense to come back, recover, and make the tackle.
There it is, the handoff to Adams, and he gets hit in the backfield.
Right there's where he sees Chapman. Yep. He's got no chance.
Chapman made him cut up, and that gave Hargett the chance to get on top of him.
Well, and Tron Adams is 5'10", 180. He's not going to run you over.
There it is. They're going to go for the field goal attempt here. O'Meara to do the kicking. O'Meara gets a lot of leg into this one, and it is good.
They always have good kickers.
34-yarder. And the Troy Colts got something out of that drive.
Ken Phillips says it's 34 yards. It's 34 yards.
He's been doing a terrific job. I'd like to commend Ken Phillips on helping us out here tonight. Our statistician. And Joe, I hope you treat him well so that he comes back the rest of the season with us.
Yeah, I avoid him. That's how he likes me.
That's the secret.
Exactly.
3:21 left here in the first half. The Troy Colts up 10-0.
It's that and
over the Clarkston Wolves.
And the free pop that the nice people at Troy provide for us.
That is correct.
You know, so all the other schools that we're coming to this year, you know, we like that.
We do. And I thank the Troy staff here helping us up in the press box. It's kind of cozy up here, though, Joe, but
it's all right.
I'll just try to avoid you. And
you know, I just wish they would have built a bigger visiting stands, because maybe by now,
are packed tonight.
Well, that's the home stands, and they're up pretty high, but the visiting stands are really low, and so the sun's never going to get behind them.
But we will get to see the beautiful sunset.
Oh, yeah.
The kickoff. Wasilk couldn't find it down there and finally picks it up, and he'll get about to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the return he had last time. Now if you're Clarkston, you got a huge decision. Do you try and have Fife throw a couple passes, try to get a scoring drive, and if he doesn't, you're stopping the clock for free and allowing Troy to maybe get into field goal range, and you now know that they have a decent kicker? Or do you maybe kind of run the clock out, try to end this half, and only go in down 10-0?
Yeah, we've got the reason why you're seeing that little glare there. You can see the smoke going by the screen. That's the terrific sausages they're cooking up for us at halftime, folks.
So far, the best concessions in Oakland County.
The pass it, almost intercepted out there by number 21, Frank McCormick. McCormick just there at the right time and in and out of the hands.
Looking for Wasilk, put a little too much under this, and McCormick knows he should have had that.
He hung it up just a little, and he's throwing way across the field, so that gives plenty of time for the defensive backs to react to that.
Yeah, that's one of those maybe you got to come back to if you're the receiver, too. That's a good drive. It's a little different than a two-play drive. That's a sustained, grinded-out drive.
The field goal of 34 yards gave the Troy Colts a 10-0 lead, and now the Wolves got a big gain on that one. It'll be third and short yardage coming up now for Clarkston. Let's see, we may even get a measurement.
Well, and again, I think that's where they had to run that one, because if they didn't get close, they run again for sure.
Yeah, we're going to get a measurement on this one. It's so close, so the Wolves bounce right back, and that's a good sign for these Clarkston Wolves. Again, nobody returning on this team. You've got a sophomore quarterback, and they're showing a lot here in this first game of the season.
There's not one starter on offense who's ever started a varsity game before. And again, this is a big decision here. Do you want to risk giving Troy the ball back with any amount of time? Or, because Rance, one thing, the guy does have a strong arm. If they just want to send a couple guys deep and throw up a Hail Mary up, he could probably send it 60, 70 yards in the air. And we have seen stranger things happen around here.
So just a little less than a yard. So less than a yard now for the Wolves.
3rd and 1 for Clarkston.
Now, they're not even going to waste the timeout. They may try to take time off, get the first down, and then
there we see the concession. They're working hard down there for us,
Look
Joe.
at all that smoke.
Yeah.
I had one before the game. And, I'm looking forward to halftime, because those things are so good. I wish we did, games here every week.
Well, Ferndale was pretty good,
Ferndale's good, too. But we're not there this year.
Here's the carry. Let's see where they're going to mark this one. The pile.
Number 44.
That's close.
Jeff Long, stop by.
Jeff Long, big fullback.
Number 88, Mike Thompson.
And Jeff Long, a sophomore himself in that backfield. They pick up the first down, so the Wolves get themselves out of trouble now. Instead of punting, they will continue to have the ball with 2:22 and counting now here in the second quarter.
And again, you have to remember, this is a team that picked to finish second in their division behind Troy. Last year we saw them lose 14-6 and thought they weren't that good. Well, they didn't lose again until they played Troy again.
Here's Dane Fife, back to pass, scrambling out of the pocket, almost sacked in the backfield, has time,
he's got it.
Unloads, but it's intercepted. Intercepted intercepted by number 22, Brian Kretschmer.
And Jeff Bemis, number 15, if that ball gets over Kretschmer's hands, has a touchdown.
A tough throw for the right-hander coming towards this way, and that's why he hung it up there just a little too long.
Oh, you got to turn your body and still get that thing off. There he almost gets sacked, I believe, by Jamal Kassar. Now he turns, throws on the run, just doesn't get enough under it, and you look right here at this guy. There's no one behind him, but a great catch by that guy.
Rance back to throw. Colts want to get some more points on the board before the half. And a big run there after the catch by Dave Fritz. Fritz now, the tight end, got some big shoes to fill himself from last year.
I'll say you got a 6'2" tight end, and he's a midget compared to what they had. McCall was 6'6", a basketball player, huge hands, long arms, everything. Does a good job for Fritz. The first time he's in there replacing McCall this year. And Troy is already almost in scoring position. Another 10-15 yards. They got field goal range, and they've got a minute 42.
1st and 10, ball at about the 38-yard line of Clarkston. Connor on the move. The pass goes out to Belton. Belton now scrambling, but a flag down.
Well, we'll see what they called this time. If it's a hold, it's got to be on the offense from where they threw it. They had the blocking set up to get a big gain out of that play.
Number 44 in the stop, Jeff Long.
There it is.
Okay.
Bringing him back.
Motion man probably was leaning forward. They threw that a little bit after the play started for procedure.
Yeah. Usually you get those flags a little bit earlier.
But, this is something we were talking about just a couple minutes ago. Clarkston's gamble of throwing the ball there is giving Troy a chance to make it a 17-0 lead at halftime. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb saying you're not going to come back from that.
Let's go down the field.
Okay, live ball foul. We had 6 men on the line of scrimmage on the offense. First down repeated.
There you see the
5-yard
penalties.
penalty.
Clarkston 1 for 5 yards, but Troy has 3 for 30. Hasn't really hurt him on the board too much, but it might have because of that one that they had inside the 10. So
yeah, I mean it's only 30 yards, but in a way you can add 57 yards to that 30.
That's right. In motion, Belton, the handoff to Adams. Adams hiding behind his line and then springs loose.
And gets out of bounds.
Yeah, stops the clock with 1:20 left.
Remember, that was still first down repeated. So you're going to have about a 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8 here.
Watch him hide behind his big lineman and then spring out of there.
Well, and Appledorn set up a good block once again, doing a good job, not carrying the ball, just making the blocks for him as a fullback. And Adams he's got great patience for a high school tailback. He's not trying to force anything. We've seen that every year. You see guys that don't wait for the blockers to get there.
2nd and 9, Rance back to pass, has plenty of time. Unloads, and he's got his man open again. Again to Drew Patrick.
There's a guy that after that first drop, boy, his game is picked up.
Yep. Drew Patrick, the man you're going to watch deep for the Colts tonight, and he has done it. Look at this. Nice pass.
Drew Patrick, 6'1", 165, a junior.
1st and 10 for Troy.
And again, Kyle Rance, last year that ball comes in a lot faster. This year he's learned some touch.
Clock down to 1 minute coming up, and clock is running. Rance takes it himself on the run. And it'll bring up 2nd down.
That's become
I think they're trying to get it into field goal position again, possibly.
That's also become a very popular high school play in recent years.
2nd and 6 coming up, Joe.
See schools, Brother Rice does it, Orchard Lake St. Mary's does it, a few others. They try to catch the defense off guard if they got a quarterback that can run, just fast sneak it through. And every now and then, I've seen 80-yard touchdown runs off of quarterbacks.
2nd and 6 now for the Colts. They'll probably try to go to the air, but no, they go to the ground. Adams on the run, and a timeout will be coming up. Clock down to 25 seconds.
Well, now, I'm curious how many timeouts they've got left. I thought they only had 1. 10? Which, if that's the case, why not wait till there's 3 seconds left, just so nothing happens on a kick return.
So 3rd and about a yard coming up.
Maybe you throw one fade into the end zone.
And take a look at this show every Wednesday and Friday at 9 p.m. on Channel 63. It's Transition as it tackles tough issues like racism, poverty, and current local problems. Jeffrey Miller, your host, has an interesting half hour of program designed to open your mind. Watch Transition Wednesday and Friday night at 9 on TCI 63.
current local problems include Pat and Bub addressing his playing cards.
That, I think, is a major problem that needs to be looked at on the upcoming transition programs. Third and about 1 yard with 25 seconds coming up, and it looks like they're going to...
Well,
what do you do?
You got third down. I think
you one more pass play if you try.
I think you run a fade
Here's
pattern.
Kyle Rance, 8 of 10, 112 yards, and
last year against Adams,
improved quite a bit,
he
hasn't
threw for like 120, and we figured that had to be a Troy record for a single season. So
it's a different team this year.
Yeah, Troy putting the ball in the air is just something we're not used to.
The big power running backs they used to have. Here's Adams on the carry. Picks up the first down, so that'll stop the clock for the chains.
Now, do you come up and try to throw a fade real quick?
Yeah. So you do have time to run some plays here, too. 21 seconds, you see the clock, full house in the backfield, and 2 tight ends.
As we point out every year, Gary Griffith has about as much to do with the offense as we do. He's the defensive coach. He's the head coach.
And they throw it in the ground, and
is that legal?
Bring
now?
up a... Okay, second down now in 16 seconds.
That must be a new rule, because I know that last year you couldn't do that in high school. You could do it in college and the pros.
Yep.
All right, now do you...
I think it makes sense. You might as well be able to do that.
Well, the other way that you stop the clock is you turn and have a guy stand, you throw it over his head out of bounds. I have one time seen an innocent bystander get their nose broken with that. So this is a little better.
Well, get the guy out of the field there then if he's an innocent bystander.
He was a chain guy.
Rance to throw, and that's the problem you have. If you don't go for the field goal, you could come up with an interception, and it is. Rance threw behind the intended receiver, and Clarkston comes up with the interception.
That's where, not to overly second guess, but I guess that's our job. You throw the fade pattern. You throw the fade pattern to the back of the end zone. It's a touchdown or an incompletion. Right. No one's ever intercepted a well-thrown fade. Unless maybe Dion did it.
Bill Goforth with the interception, number 24. Let's take a look.
Looking for Drew Patrick all the way.
A little bit behind him there.
Yeah.
Patrick was running from left to right, so that was behind him, and Goforth was right there to pick it up. So the Colts come up empty-handed on that drive. Looked like they were going to get in at least for a field goal and tried to maneuver the clock where they could get in for 6, but
the Wolves
didn't happen.
Oh, the Wolves dodged a huge bullet.
Wolves were hungry on that.
They're not coming back from 17-0.
Yeah.
They don't have a chance of coming back from that. They have a chance from 10-0. That's manageable.
10-0 is 2 scores, so they could come up on top. And that'll do it. That'll end the first half of play here at Troy High School. Exciting first half for the Troy Colts and a promising first half for the Clarkston Wolves.
It's about what everyone expected. And once again, this is the #1 team in the state. Last year, they did the same thing to Clarkston. And like I said, Clarkston didn't lose again until they played Troy again.
As Gary Griffith walks off with a 10-0 lead, we'll take our break right here. Halftime at Troy High School. The Troy Colts 10 and the Clarkston Wolves 0.
High school football is back, and Channel 63 is the place to see it. Every week this fall, TCI Sports travels the Oakland County area to find the game of the week. Our next game features 2 teams on the rise. The Lake Orion Dragons taking on the Adams Highlanders. That's the TCI Sports Game of the Week. Next week, Saturday and Monday on Channel 63.
I wrote a letter to TCI because of the kind service and the kindness that was given to me when we needed service. I'm a district manager for Family Dollar stores here in Detroit and Pontiac. And being a district manager over 16 stores, it's important for us to maintain good customer service day in and day out. If you don't give good service to customers, you don't maintain good service, you don't maintain a good company. And TCI, in my book, has certainly represented customer service to the nth degree.
Halftime here at Troy High, where the Colts lead 10-0 over the Clarkston Wolves. And it's been, Joe, a very defensive struggle so far, but the Troy offense has been doing the job, even though it's a low-scoring game. Here is the touchdown, as we see Teron Adams, coming up with it.
Little take it in, take it out. Now he's going to take it out one more time right here and just dodge one more tackler. Great run by Teron Adams. Same thing we saw in the Silverdome last year in the state championship game.
And a great run there, made it 7-0 with the extra point, and then a field goal made it 10-0, a 34-yard field goal.
That was the defense setting up the field position for that, and you want to talk about defense, that's defense.
Yep. Absolutely no rushing, really, for the Wolves. They have some passing there for Dane, but he's only come up with 57 yards. 34 yards passing.
Time of possession is misleading, and sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. Today it's not mattering much. Passing yardage for Troy is an upset. If you saw those total yards, and I believe it was, 34 or something for, or 32 total
for Clarkston.
Clarkston. Remember at one point in the first quarter, total yards was even at 28? So that's 4 yards since that, and Troy went about 120, 130 after that.
There's Kyle Rance, 8 of 12 for 112 yards. And we are underway now in the second half. A short kick out to about the 35-yard line, and the Colts pick it up at about the 40, so good field position for Troy on their first possession of the second half.
And I believe that was Brian Kretschmer who picked up the short kick.
So the Colts start on their own 39-yard line, and great field position for Kyle Rance and his offensive unit.
And we saw that Clarkston, both their offensive and defensive lines wore down as we got deeper into the first half. Now they've had a little time to rest. They've got to come up big right now, or Teron Adams is going to add to that rushing total.
Yep, 13 carries for 54 yards. Rance to throw, has plenty of time, and has Patrick open. Will they give him the forward motion for the first down? He's going to be very close to a first down.
He just found his own defense and sat down in the middle of it. And I don't know what Patrick's got receiving, but they're not covering the guy.
Well, Patrick, highly touted coming into this season. And they have been going to Patrick quite a bit.
Patrick, 4 catches, 51 yards.
Before that one,
now 5 for 60. Of Rance's 13 passes, 7 of them went his way.
There's the first man through. Appledorn picks up the first down, and a very strong run by the fullback that time.
Only, I think, his second carry of the game, but he's had a strong game as a blocker. And Clarkston's in trouble right now. Again, you're not coming back from 17-0 on these guys. If they don't come up with a defensive stop right now, you don't know what the score could end up being.
Appledorn, 5'11", 190. And a senior. Leading the way there for Teron Adams in the backfield as he is the lead back. 2 receivers split, pro formation. Ball at the 43 of Clarkston. Rance pitches quickly out to Adams. He's hit in the backfield, but manages to dive forward close to the line of scrimmage, but he loses just a little bit.
Well, Whistler made the stop, but Joe DeGame kind of slowed him up a little bit, forced the tackle to happen. See, it's just a little bit too deep of a pitch on the option. And there's DeGame slowing him down. Whistler comes up, finally makes the actual tackle.
And a loss of a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 11 coming up for the Colts.
And just keep an eye down there, because that's Patrick, and that's who they've been throwing to all day.
I formation. Patrick down at the bottom of the screen. They're looking that way. No, they go down the middle. Complete to Belton. And Belton picks up the first down.
Wow.
He went up for that one, Joe.
Hope we see that again. Leon Belton, a senior. Great catch. And if they can throw like this team won't lose this year.
Look at that. Right on the money.
Nice
up
touch.
Over everybody, too.
And, the fact is, these receivers, we're talking about Rance, and he deserves all. They're getting open.
Yeah.
There's nobody on these guys when they catch the ball.
The pitch quickly back to Adams. Quick cut in the backfield and scrambles forward for maybe 4 or 5 yards.
Got quick feet. It's hard. These guys are trying to tackle him around the legs. He's not real big. Maybe go for the waist, because those feet are moving too fast to try to get any kind of grip on.
2nd and a long 6 now coming up for the Colts. Just under 9:30 left here in the third quarter. Colts up 10-0 now.
They're showing
and on the move again. Ball at about the 24-yard line.
Yeah, showing that they deserve that #1 ranking.
Second and long 6.
We're going to say, fortunately, according to Gary Griffith, the newspapers are just for entertainment.
There it is, Adams in the whole right side of that Troy Colt line. He just went right behind him, and they plowed forward.
Yeah, you look at Adkins, a two-way player, leading the way on the blocking there. They're running time off the clock, too.
Yeah. 3rd and about 4 coming up.
Probably go for it if you have a 4th down situation. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see a run coming at you here, just so if you have to kick a field goal, you've got a little bit better of an angle. That's a nasty angle from that close in.
Pro set. Rance takes it himself, bounces out, and gets close to a 1st down. Looks like he picked it up, Joe.
Yeah, you can't
see where they mark it.
It's going to be hard to tell from here. Again, he's 6'6", just leaning forward to get you the extra yardage. It's going to be 4th and 1.
Yep,
I don't see a kicker going out there yet. That would be a real tough angle.
Yeah. 4th and 1. They're going to go for it. The running game has been working well on this drive here.
Well, I think Griff knows, too, that 13-0 is still a 2-possession game. 17-0 puts it away.
Full house in the backfield. It's Adams diving over the line, picks up the 1st down.
Good awareness of Adams. He saw number 42, Warchuk, get in and get low, where if he can get his legs, he can flip them out, not allow him to get the 1st down, and he dove then, realizing you only have to get inches. And that's about what he got.
Teron Adams in the first game of the season, getting closer to that 100-yard mark. And it's a 1st and 10, just shy of the 15-yard line for the Colts. There he is at 63 yards now on 17 carries.
Well, he should get it unless they get a lead where they start putting the reserves in.
Pitch back to Adams. Adams hitting the backfield, bounces out, and he is hit for a loss. A big loss, too. Loss of about 5.
Yeah, well, Jeff Long led the way, slowed him up, and everybody else came in, and the blocking broke down.
Yeah, 4-yard loss that time for Adams.
You see Tim Wisser leading the defense. I don't know what happened with all the blocking here, but all of a sudden you got Long slowing him up, or Wisser actually slowing him up, and Long finishing him off. And there's just none of those guys got blocked.
And that clock is running down to 7 minutes, and underneath that 7-minute mark now. Adams, deep in the backfield, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, or close to it. And it'll bring up a 3rd and long now for the Colts.
Well, that time it was Warchuk, and we're going to have 3rd, maybe even 11. And by the time this drive's over, we're going to be halfway through the 3rd quarter. That's your classic Troy football. This is what we're used to. Not a whole lot of passing. You never stop the clock, and you never let the other team have a chance at beating you because they don't have the ball.
6'6" quarterback, senior Kyle Rance. 3rd and 11. Rance back to throw. Pumps and goes deep into the end zone. Open Patrick. Touchdown as he just stepped into the end zone.
Wow. There's a fade pattern we were talking about in the first half. But once again, Patrick gets open. And Clarkston, it might be too late now, but they're going to have to adjust their coverages because these guys, that's too easy.
A 16-yard pass, Kyle Rance to Drew Patrick.
I'll tell you something, Kyle Rance, you can't say it enough. Last year he did a credible job. They had such a great defense and a solid offense that his basic job was not to lose the game. As they get the extra point, and now it's a 3-possession game. Every now and then he'd make a big play, but he wasn't the focal point of the offense by any means. You throw his improved passing ability into the mix, this is a much improved team, and to be that much improved off of a state championship is kind of unheard of.
17-0. Rance to Patrick, 16 yards. The extra point good. And the Troy Colts lead 17-0 with 6:12 left in the 3rd quarter. And Joe, they ate up all the clock in that one.
We're halfway through the 3rd quarter now. And you have to remember that kind of long drive wears everybody out. The Clarkston defensive line is worn out, and I don't know how many of those guys are going both ways, but they're exhausted right now. And the size factor, they held up for a while early, but they're just getting plowed, and it just kind of steamrolls on you.
There to receive, we see It'll be Wasilk and number 32, Phelan, Brad Phelan on the far side. Wasilk on the left.
Wasilk almost broke one earlier, and they need one right now. They need darn near a touchdown from him.
O'Meara to kick. And it is deep back to about the 5-yard line. Phelan has it. Phelan busts through the middle and down at about the 30. If he wasn't tripped up, he could have gotten at least to the 40, maybe the 50-yard line that time.
Yeah, he had a hole, and James Feeney closed it up for him. He had more yardage coming after that. You see these two guys both want the ball. It ends up Phelan gets it. Just takes it right up the gut, gets some good blocking there, gets through the hole, and you're going to see number 30 come up and make the stop from the left side.
So the Wolves have their first possession, and Troy on their possession. 12 plays, 61 yards, and then the 16-yard pass from Rance to Patrick topped it off. 5:48 off the clock.
Oh, gee.
Hit in the backfield, and say hello to number 76, Steve DeHorn, as Chapman didn't get a chance to do anything on that one.
These guys are good. I mean, it's like we're overstating it, but wow, are they good? They're big, they're quick, and they're not letting up. It's like, they get this lead, and they're getting hungrier because of it.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Clarkston Wolves looking over the line. And the handoff, and another loss of maybe another yard that time on the carry. Chapman again.
It's just more of the same. Do you want to try to throw and risk the sacks and risk turnovers, or are you going to try and run the ball, which you can't do, but at least you can take some time off the clock? That time we had number 87, Dave Fritz, the tight end, coming in there making the stop.
And the Wolves have not had positive yardage since the first quarter on the ground.
On Clarkston, illegal motion.
I don't think they've had positive yardage on a play.
On a play?
Troy pass, tight end screen.
I think it might have been a run play, really.
Wow.
Let's take a look down on the field.
Well, I don't
here.
know when they've had a completion.
Yeah, illegal procedure.
Illegal procedure. They're going to decline that, I would assume, aren't they? Or are you not allowed? Yeah, it's a dead ball foul.
Gary Griffith looks on with his team leading 17-0 here. 4:41 left in the third quarter. And he gives us
dead ball foul. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Third down. Dead ball foul should be second down, shouldn't it? That should be second down, and the officials made a major, well,
no one caught it on the Clarkston side either. Kurt Richardson not saying anything over there. Here's Fife back to throw. Got a man deep and overthrew him. Intended down there for Wasilk, and
Fife's slow getting up too. That's something you worry about too. You've got a sophomore in his first game. He's getting killed on every pass play. Not only can he get hurt, his confidence has got to be hurting, but again, he's, small consolation. He's not going to have to face a defense like this the rest of the year, at least until the playoffs. But you don't want to get him hurt either.
And a punting situation now for the Wolves. Ball at about the 23-yard line, and the Clarkston Wolves forced to punt and deep in their own territory. The punt is off by Teague, taken by Connor. Connor waits a second to set things up, and he's hit right at the 50. So great field position again for the Troy Colts as they start at midfield.
Yeah, well, good coverage there by Clarkston, though. They punted it into a corner, forced him to bring it back to the middle. Kind of hard for a guy like Connor, who's got speed, to break anything there, and I'm sure Clarkston was afraid of that as well.
Don't forget to tune in next week. Another great matchup. The Lake Orion Dragons take on the Adams Highlanders. That's Saturday and Monday right here on TCI 63 at 8 p.m.
Game's so nice we show it twice.
That's right. You get those VCRs rolling. First and 10, Colts at the 50-yard line. Rance back to throw, has Appledorn open, and Appledorn close to the first down. He'll be just shy.
And you look at the clock, 3:50 left. Clarkston's not going to see the ball again till the fourth quarter. By then, they'll probably be down 24-0. This is you never think of a Troy offense as a machine. You think of their defense, but they got it going both ways.
Their offense on a roll. There's Drew Patrick, 6 receptions, 76 yards. to Patrick alone and 1 touchdown. Second less than a yard. Handoff. Adams breaks through. Touchdown to Ron Adams. 41 yards.
All right, I was wrong about something. Clarkston will get the ball again in the third quarter. Wow.
The Colts not worried about eating the clock.
Look at the blocking. Appledorn leads the way through. Great block by DeHorn, and then the speed takes over, and none of these guys can catch Adams.
Adams, 41 yards for the touchdown. And the Troy Colts now on their way to a big victory over the Clarkston Wolves.
And this will not do anything to change their number 1 ranking.
Extra point is no good, so it stands at 23-0.
Well, they needed that. They had to have something that they had to work on for next week. And that'll be it.
So Adams has his 100 yards for the evening on that run.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how much more we're going to see of it.
Yeah, we may get a good chance here for Gary Griffith to put his second team in and get some work that way.
I'll tell you what's kind of curious. Last year, all these years.
I think he deserves a water break, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Last year they had injuries to all their tailbacks, so nobody got over 1,000 yards. It's like the first time in 5 or 6 years that didn't happen. Of course, it ends up being good. They win a state title. If he stays healthy, the streak is back.
And he'll stay healthy if his line blocks for him. He was thanking Don McComb there on that one as McComb, one of his blockers, came in. 2 plays, 50 yards, 1 minute off the clock. We saw the other drive beat up all the clock. This time they do it in 1 minute.
Well, they've had two of their scoring drives were like 10 or 11 or 12 plays, and 2 of them were 2 plays, and both because Adams got long runs. Take it either way.
Yeah, it's got to make you happy as a coach, knowing you can strike that quickly and then also eat up the clock when you need it. They're back to receive again. It'll be Phelan on the far side and Wassilk on the left side. And kicking off this time is Quisenberry, Jim Quisenberry, to do the kicking. Taken at about the 10-yard line. Wassilk right up the middle of the field. Wassilk makes a cut. Look out. It'll be one man to try to catch him, and that's Benson. Benson trying to get him on the angle, and Wassilk gets away. And the Clarkston Wolves strike quickly.
Wow. He's come close before, as did Phelan, and that time they got through. And I think you got to go for 2 here. If you're thinking ahead, anyway.
Let's take a look. Wassilk right up the middle.
Breaks the 1 tackle. Then it's a foot race with Rob Benson, and he wins it to the end zone.
I'm just going to, well, I got to go down here.
Wow.
A lot of scoring here in the third quarter. 23-6 now, and let's see what the Wolves do on their extra point attempt.
I'm thinking you go for 2 only because if you get 8 2 more times, it's 24 points. So only 1 point helps them a whole lot.
Yep. Roughly a 90-yard return. I'm not sure on the official. There's Fife rolling out. He's going to take it himself. Angling, and he gets in.
He does. Wow, good run.
Good run by Fife. He had some room and then decided to go for the very corner and got in. So Dane Fife, the sophomore, showing some experience there.
Yeah, and that, boy, all of a sudden, it looked like he had it easy when he rolled out, and all of a sudden it closed up, and I don't know how he actually got in. Let's take a look here. You're going to see him look to go right here, and it's not there. He has to take it out. And just kind of sneaking. Got a little bit of a block. Again, 23-8, you do this 2 more times, you're actually winning. Of course, the odds are that they're not going to score 2 more times, and kick returns are not the way you want to be scoring.
Yeah, you really need to put something together.
Well, yeah, that just means they scored.
Talking to his offensive coordinator down there, and head coach Richardson comes over too.
And you know what? And they're making me look smart again because they still aren't going to run an offensive play in the third quarter. So thanks a lot. Needed that.
Well, you called it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if you are the prophet that you are.
Oh, I wish I was.
So Clarkston picks up their first score of the evening. on a big return, and back to return. Look at Teron Adams back to return.
Yeah, he's not going to get a chance.
Connor. No, they
Onside
decide to give the onside kick right to the Colts. And picking it up there is 86, Searing, Brian Searing.
Brian Searing, the punter.
The punter, and a great field position again for the Colts. Ball at their own 48-yard line.
It's a tough call to make that onside kick there.
Yeah. Got to try to make them earn it, kick them deep.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it's, hey, it's a genius call, so.
There it is, 89 yards officially on the return. And the Colts come running right at him on the first down and gain of maybe a yard. 2nd and 9 coming up.
There's got to be a little more emotion anyway on Clarkston's part, and that can help a little bit. I think you can overestimate the effect emotion has on you. It's only going to carry you so far, but right now they've got some momentum, and they might be able to carry that into at least forcing Troy to punt once here. After that, they're going to have to take care of it themselves.
Here come the Colts at midfield. To the tailback, Adams. Adams holds up and then takes off for the first down. What a great stutter step he had. Waited for something to open up and then took off.
Never let his feet stop moving. They had him wrapped up a couple times and he just kicks away. And they got a Clarkston player injured right now.
And that is a big player, too, Haggard. Haggard has been all over the place defensively.
We've said his name all night on tackles.
Come on. The Colts have scored twice here in the third quarter, and Clarkston has answered once. 23-8 the score now.
Well, and again, we talk about in the future, Clarkston next week plays Pontiac Central. Their second toughest game all season.
Not an easy opponent
there. Go 0-2 and finish 7-2 and make the playoffs. And the rest of the way, you never know.
And we're in the third quarter with a timeout now. Troy leads 23-8.
I wrote a letter to TCI because of the kind service and the kindness that was given to me when we needed service. I'm a district manager for Family Dollar stores here in Detroit and Pontiac. And being a district manager over 16 stores, it's important for us to maintain good customer service day in and day out. If you don't give good service to customers, you don't maintain good service, you don't maintain a good company. And TCI, in my book, has certainly represented customer service to the nth degree.
And we're back at Troy High School. 3rd and 1 now for the Troy Colts.
Troy on the Clarkston.
As Phelan went off the field, and hopefully he can come back.
Or Phelan?
Oh, excuse me.
Hargett.
Ron
Adams gets the first down, though, as we're checking rosters.
Hargett, that is correct.
Over the 40-yard line of Clarkston. 1st and 10, Troy.
Well, Phelan's family will be watching.
And they'll say, wait, did he get hurt?
We didn't know about that.
The Colts pick up the first down, and they're on their way again now, deep and deeper into Clarkston territory.
Again, we were talking about that Clarkston schedule. Play Pontiac Central next week, when the Oakland Press is actually ranked 2nd in Oakland County. Troy, for some reason, is 3rd in Oakland County, even though they're number 1 in the state. South Lyon's number 1, but you can't start off with a tougher schedule.
Yeah, Clarkston with one of the toughest 2 games anyone's going to see to start the season. Brandt's handing off to Adams. Adams again, hit right at the line of scrimmage at his feet, and he takes off. And it was Jeff Long right there. Jeff Long tried to stop him and got away with a stutter step and took off for some more.
Jeff Long's been in on a few tackles, and if Hart gets out of there, he's going to have to do a little bit more. Talking about Troy's schedule, next week they play at Birmingham Seaholm. You see the first downs this half. Troy obviously is controlling that. Then they've got Rochester Adams, Pontiac Northern. They kind of, after Seaholm, don't have to worry until Waterford Kettering, who was the only team that beat them last year. So the revenge factor ought to be enough there for them, you would think.
2nd down and 7. Coming up on 45 seconds left here in the third quarter.
That's a double pass. That's a fumble, too.
And now they whistle it.
Yeah, he was going to throw that deep, I think. That should have been a lateral.
Patrick may have thrown that downfield.
I think that was a lateral.
They're going to mark it out of bounds. Yeah.
Where it went out.
The official on the far side saw it, and he's going to say, let's mark it where it went out of bounds. And that's what they're going to do.
They had a guy going down. They were going to throw.
Yeah.
Considered a lateral loss of 3, 3rd and 10 for Troy.
So 3rd and 10 now for the Colts. Ball at the 40-yard line and 39 seconds on the clock. Rance back to throw. Downfield has Patrick. First down for the Colts, and he's crunched down there by the Wolves.
Man, he just, it's the same route. He runs them real slow.
Jay Richardson, one of the tacklers, gives him that final crunch down there. Let's take a look.
Oh, I mean, you know, it looks like those old NFL films things of Raymond Berry and Lance Allworth, these slow guys. And he just gets himself underneath everybody and gets what he can after the catch.
Helping Richardson was Goforth, Bill Goforth.
And he got nailed too, though. He's coming off a little injured.
It was that hit by Richardson. He nailed him on the side.
Hope it's just a cramp. Messing up the leg.
Charlie Horse or cramp there. 1st and 10. Rance on the handoff to Appledorn. And not much there for the Colts. It'll bring up a...
That'll be the end of the quarter.
And that'll end the 3rd quarter play here at Troy High School. And the Colts up 23-8 over the Clarkston Wolves.
And hey, every time you think Troy's in a little bit of trouble, they come up with the big play.
They do. They pull something out of their hat. Even on the touchdown that they threw to Patrick that time, it was a must. They had to come up with it. It was a 3rd down situation. They came up with it.
Yeah.
Again, don't forget to miss this one here. Transition coming up in the fall. Transition tackles tough issues like racism, poverty, cultural, and current problems. Jeff Miller hosts this interesting half-hour program designed to open up your mind. Watch Transition Wednesday and Friday night at 9 p.m. right here on TCI 63.
You know, the other night I saw they had, Roadshow Video Classic.
Yeah.
With Master Angler.
Oh, I love that one.
But I'm wondering, are either of those shoes going to hook up with Transition and do a little...
Maybe...
have Transition go fishing.
Transition go fishing.
With Master Angler. There's a show there.
Welcome back to the game.
You should be a producer, you know that. You should do something with yourself.
That's what I've thought.
This summer. I mean, like, what'd you do this summer? You waited for football season.
I waited for football. That's all I did.
You moved, and you
I
were
was
late
waiting
moving.
for football.
But you did move into the TCI viewing area.
And I'm very happy.
Thank you.
Oh, well, because I'm paying your salary now.
Well, now you get a chance to watch the games. 2nd down and 10. Rance to throw. He's got his man open, the tight end, Dave Fritz. Fritz for the first down inside the 10-yard line.
They're running the West Coast offense now. The tight end comes out 5 yard underneath like Brent Jones
like
catching it.
Here.
He's looking like Brent Jones here, catching it and getting 8 yards after the catch. Gary Griffith, offensive mastermind.
I tell you, you watch the Colts.
Wow.
Work here offensively and defensively, and you think, well, they're going to be back for that state championship.
I mean, if you've seen Troy for as many years as we have, they don't throw. Ever.
To have some big running backs and let the running backs do all the work and let the linemen just pave the way for them. And now the Colts have another side to their offense. And it's a big passing quarterback, Kyle Rance.
He is, you don't know what the rest of the players are in Oakland County, but he might be the most improved player around.
He is. And we saw him earlier in his career, and now he's just developed that size and that strength, and it's just incredible. There you go. Let's do that again. What did you draw on him?
All right,
what is
the
that?
Queen of Hearts.
Okay.
And there's like a Jack of, what was it, clubs or something?
I don't know.
That looks like something else. But anyway, that's those guys.
That looked like a king to me.
King. Well, okay, he's a king now. Actually,
a crown.
Let's get to reality about these two. If we can clear that, they're both jokers. So
they are. Just watch the road show, if you will. Great program. They're going to be at the Renaissance Festival, and
they
it's
haven't
at 9
left.
p.m. Thursdays.
We had to kidnap Pat to direct this game because they've been at the Renaissance
I'll tell you what,
Festival.
I watched them put it together, and that is going to be a fun show.
Is it really?
It is.
Do they do some of the jousting
This will be
and
one of
everything?
your new favorites if you watch it. It will be one of your new favorites.
Better than the fishing one.
Guaranteed.
Wow.
Second play of the 4th quarter.
Full house in the backfield and 2 tight ends. Adams on the carry. And wrestled down there. Looks like 43 down there. Who was down there? Number 43 and 86, respectively.
They should put Roadshow Video on the pay-per-view channel.
Mark Teague down there.
They could get rich.
They should what?
Put it on the pay-per-view channel. Those guys could make a lot of money.
Off you.
Well, I don't want to admit to that, but yeah.
Possibly. If you had money, they would make money.
Exactly.
There's Rance, 13 of 17. Incredible. 163 yards passing. Appledorn in motion. Adams gets it. And now down to about the 1 or 2 yard line. Let's see the mark. About the 2 yard line.
So that means they can run another 35 seconds off the clock. Take this thing to the 10-minute mark. Or not. Official timeout.
Officials call timeout. Let's see.
I don't know why they would call timeout down there.
They're helping Clarkston get some players off the field. There we go.
You're not supposed to call timeout for that unless they're hurt.
Let's see, now they call another timeout. Let's see what's going on here.
Could be an equipment problem.
Could be an equipment problem. They're trying to get to... Well, I've never seen an official call a timeout to get another player back on the field. They could be.
Again, we were talking about Rance being probably the most improved player. Another Patrick could be the top wide receiver in Oakland County. He's only a junior. The top receiver last year was a junior, a guy named Dave Sofferin from Brother Rice, but he's quarterback this year.
And now
Patrick
the Colts
should
call timeout.
Yeah, now after all that, they want to know what's going on. They're going to call timeout. Patrick could end up being the best receiver in Oakland County this year, at least statistically.
Well, if Rance keeps throwing like this, and if the Colts find themselves in this position where they can throw.
And if you help put your, of course, you get leads like this, you don't have to throw a whole lot. Remember, Clarkston's one of the better teams they're going to play. They're not going to have to do as much throwing. The games are going to be put away sooner, except for, strange things do happen, but they don't have the tough schedule. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to have a tough schedule just because how many teams are there that are as good as they are? Next week's an interesting game because they play Birmingham Seagull.
And here's an interesting program you can catch right here on TCI 63. It's the Oakland Press Perspective with Oakland Press editor Neil Monroe as he hosts a program designed to enlighten you on issues that affect Oakland County, such as the Roadshow Video. The Oakland Press Perspective airs Friday night at 8:30 p.m. right here on TCI 63.
The Troy people want to talk to that guy, too, because the News and Free Press put Troy #1 in the state, and the Oakland Press put Troy 3rd in the county. And they want to know what Ohio teams are in Oakland County. Because how did that happen?
I think they did that just to get people to buy the paper and see,
well, people are buying the paper anyway because there's a strike going on.
Controversy. Hand off Adams, cuts up and cuts outside. Adams took it straight up and then said, there's nothing there. I think I'll scamper outside.
I don't think I want to get hit. I think we'll walk in.
2-yard touchdown run.
Wow.
And Adams just continues his fine evening. Let's take a look.
This is all we hear about coming into this is their defense. They got this guy at running back, which we knew for sure. Hey, this is the real deal. You got this quarterback that we're thinking, well, we'll see how much improved he is. We have, and they've got a great receiver. Their offense is equal to their defense right now.
And the extra point is good. So Adams picks up his 3rd touchdown of the evening. And the Troy Colts make it 30-8 over Clarkston.
Well, again, next week they have an interesting game that they play Seaholm, which is like all their starters back on offense, and is considered like the top combined offensive team in the county because they've got 3-year starters at all the skill positions. And you got that offense going against this defense, and you see which one wins out. The difference might be, though, that the Troy offense is so awesome that Seaholm's got to come up with a defense to stop them. Used to be that,
What a job that offensive line for Troy has done. They had some questionable positions that they were thinking about, and they weren't sure about some positions like linebackers, tight end, center.
Center, we kept hearing he was trying 3 different guys. You figure we're going to see some fumbled snaps. Haven't seen one of those yet. Haven't seen a quarterback sack yet. And back to the 10-play drive thing.
10 plays, 52 yards, 424, and a 2-yard run by Adams. So that's easy to figure out 5.2 yards a carry.
What are you, a genius?
Play. I tell you. And slipping and falling. Tough break there for Clarkston.
But, again, last year you play Troy, you figure if you can get into double-digit scoring, maybe you can beat them. That's how Waterford Kettering beat them, 10-7. Get lucky, you break a kick return like Clarkston did or something like that, you're in the game. Because they're not going to score more than 10, 15 points a game. Their average was 15. They scored 30 points against Clarkston. This is not, some Class D no-name school they're playing.
They're playing the Wolves, and the Wolves now trying to get something going offensively. Dane Fife, the sophomore quarterback, to work. Rolling out. Has time. Now getting pressured. Unloads downfield, and incomplete.
You heard the footsteps.
Yep. Intended down there for Chapman.
Well, there was a lot of pressure coming from behind by Joe Conley. He had to get rid of that ball. And Troy defense is not letting up.
What a tough way to start the season for the sophomore quarterback against
I'll tell you,
the
next
number
week,
one team ranked in the state. And
well, next week he's got Pontiac Central.
Next week too,
They won't be as big, they'll be faster, so that's going to kind of mess up with them a little bit. The third week, though, they'll play Pontiac Northern. Boy, it's going to seem easy.
And an interception, no, in and out of the hands of number 54, Attar. Sebastian Attar, that time. Caught him off guard.
Well, he was covering the guy. He was watching the receiver, and the ball came to him instead. Here, Fife looks off. It's not even a three-step drop, really. He just, really steps off center, turns and looks. And Griff was, I guess that's happiness, contentment.
You're not going to see much emotion on Gary Griff.
No, he's stone face. He's
a head coach. He's looking like a head coach. Fife going deep, and is that interference? We're looking for a flag. No. The pass was not catchable.
Doesn't matter.
Let's see.
High school football, the ball does not have to be catchable for it to be interference.
The last completion that Fife had was a tip pass, and that was one that Wasso dove for, and it was a no gain. It was one at the line of scrimmage. There is the pass. There it looked like it was catchable, but
again, it doesn't have to be, and they made it so the refs don't have to make that determination. They're calling it incidental contact, but well,
no breaks.
I don't think it matters.
No breaks for Clarkston, I guess, tonight. There's Teague to punt. End over end, not a bad punt as it's taken at about the 45-yard line and hit out of bounds right there. There's number 51, yep.
Zemke with the ball.
And Joe Roy on the tackle.
Let's see who comes out on offense. And we have a change at quarterback. Quisenberry.
So Quisenberry comes in, that's number 10.
Is he going for a sidearm?
If he's any relation to Dan, you might want to look for the sidearm.
Submarine ball.
Yeah. Timeout called by the Colts.
Timeout for Troy, because they got to see who's in there.
Yeah.
Got to introduce everybody to everybody else.
30-8.
So the Colts call timeout. They lead 30-8 with 9:56 left here in the fourth quarter, and it's been all Colts.
The concession stand is still open for your convenience.
I like this.
Yeah?
Ken Phillips.
What'd you say?
Quisenberry in relief. Does that make this a safe situation?
That's right. And
but I think because
of the
lead, and
I don't know if Quisenberry will get the save.
But this does equate to 3 full innings, 10 minutes.
Now, if it was like a Henneman in there, he would give up the lead, and then he could get the win.
And they'd trade him to Houston.
And then they would. Next week, it's Lake Orion, the Dragons taking on the Highlanders. Saturday and Monday at 8 p.m. Watch for that one.
Is that on before or after Roadshow video?
I don't know if they're on the same night again.
Oh, man.
Let me check for you.
Is that,
No, they're not. See, last year we had that great 1-2 lineup for you. And if you call in,
more people were watching that than were watching Friends.
Quisenberry cuts upfield. Good decision and angles towards the sideline to pick up good yardage on his first carry.
Well, he did everything they wanted except he didn't stay in bounds.
Yeah.
But he's sitting there going, I'm getting some playing time. I want as many plays as I can get.
Here he picks up 5.
Yeah, just take the basic option, fake to the fullback up the middle. This time Zemke in at fullback.
And nobody committed to him, so he decided to take it upfield.
And you're running short side of the field. It's going to be hard to pitch out. And I don't think a quarterback wants to pitch on his first play in there anyway.
2nd and 5 now. Jim Quisenberry handing off inside. Look at all this room. Joe Conley a touchdown for the Colts. 44 yards for Joe Conley and the Colts' second team offense. Good running.
Just another 2-play drive. Oh, my.
Joe Conley takes it inside. This is just a trap play, Joe. Inside, and he takes off. Look at, you see the guard pulling.
Just bounces. He's waiting for contact. He didn't even bounce off anyone. He was waiting for that to happen. You see Brian Searing lining up downfield, I believe at a tight end, made one block for him. Other than that, just Conley taking off.
Yes. The snap is made, the place is there.
And the extra point is good. And that was O'Meara with the extra point, and the Colts add to their lead. 37-8.
Well, we didn't think we were going to need to look at this thing, but we might soon. The mercy rule in high school football. Anytime in the second half, if the score differential reaches 35, which would happen on the next touchdown, the clock will not stop on out of bounds or incompletions, scores, or a fair catch or anything. You're going to just have a running clock. So if Troy scores again, we're going to have that situation. We really didn't think we were going to need that today, and we might not yet, but we didn't think we were going to have to look at the rule.
I think we did see it one time last year, and I think it was right here when the Colts were playing somebody.
We weren't here last year.
We weren't?
No, we were there.
That's right. Where was it?
2 years ago, and I probably wasn't here then.
Yeah. You were
watching.
You were watching Beavis and Butthead, because that's when it first came on.
That felt pretty cool.
That's when you were telling me about that show.
And you still haven't seen it.
No, I've watched it.
And you like it.
Yeah, our director, Pat Collar, got me hooked now.
You should be. It's better than Ren and Stimpy.
They're great actors. Here's the kick. And it's a low-line drive taken by the Wolves. Look at this. Davis almost broke that one. Matt Davis almost broke it.
Well, Feeney with the tackle. That's his second special teams tackle.
Matt Davis, look, it springs it.
Kickoff team's getting a lot of work at Troy tonight.
So special teams. There it is. 2 plays. 48 yards, only 17 seconds off the clock, and it was a 44-yard run by Conley.
Yeah, because the first play was a out of bounds. And
he's a little happier there.
Tiny bit.
5 on the run, and he'll have to go out of bounds with it.
Well, I don't think they'll flag that.
Let's see.
There's a flag.
There's another flag.
Back where there'd be illegal use of hands or clip or hold or something, but not for the late hit there. It wasn't
really a hit.
Really,
they were just hanging on to each other. Let's see.
Chop block.
There it is. Illegal on Clarkston, and that'll push him back even further.
Well, when things go wrong, steamrolls on you.
So instead of a 4-yard gain, the Wolves get knocked back, and the cheerleaders have a lot to cheer about tonight. 37-8 the score with 9:10 left here in the fourth quarter.
And they're all being told don't make plans to go away for Thanksgiving weekend because that's when the state finals are and you might be busy that week.
You think they're saying that this early? You are.
You know what?
You are. See, I know what you're doing.
Though?
I know what you're doing.
They do. You do that, and it's bad to do it.
On the offense, 15-yard penalty, repeat first down.
I can tell you, coaches tell them not to. They think about it.
That was blocking below the waist, just in case you heard.
Which is a chop block.
Talking.
That's a chop block.
Chop block. First and 34 because of that.
Good luck.
Clarkston now has a big chunk of yardage to make up. Passing outside to Bemis, and not much there. They do pick up a little bit, though.
But,
second now and long.
But, when you come off, I remember my junior year in high school, a team won the state title. Next year, they ranked number 1 in the state and everything, and are cruising. And coach is like, don't think about it, don't think about it. And guys are designing rings, and where are we going to have the party and this and that. You can't help but think about it.
See, I know why you're saying it.
And then you lose. That's the problem.
I know why you're saying this.
But we're going to see these guys again in the playoffs. Well, actually, we might not see them in the playoffs.
Back to pass, has time, goes deep. He's got his man Wasilk open.
You catch that?
He's got it.
Yeah, he did. Good
complete.
catch.
It'll be third and short yardage.
We're about to say why we won't see them in the playoffs. At least we won't. Last year they were in the same region, so they played in the regional final.
These two teams.
Clarkston's not in the same region as Troy.
Look at Fife unloading downfield. Now the
Look at this play.
defender had no idea where the ball was.
Yeah, that's just It's a good play. You know, and he was actually covered. You can't blame the defender for that.
Jim Feeney was there, but he didn't get a chance to look back and see where the ball was to make a play. In fact, he saw Wasil come back to it. Here's a nice run for the Wolves, and they pick up the first down. It's number 32 Phelan, Brad Phelan on the carry.
Got a little momentum going right now. I don't know how many of the first team Troy defensive players are in there, if any, but if they're second stringers, they're fresh. They're not tired, and they're going to want to prove something. So Clarkston, you know, it'd be good for them, though, to try to get some points on the board here. Now the drive.
At about the 45-yard line of Troy, so the Wolves haven't seen this since the first quarter.
Oh, that's a lateral.
Over
that's a
the
lateral.
head of Phelan, and they're going to mark it. Yep, they're going to mark it right there where it went out of bounds as the pass went backwards.
That's happened to each team now tonight.
Yep.
Since this is a worthless team,
and again, you can't see, or again, you won't see these teams play each other unless it's in the state semis, which is somewhere out state where they usually play them, like up at Eastern Michigan.
Hey, there he is, Jim Evans.
Hey, that's our buddy Jim Evans. Want to thank him for the nice article he wrote back in July.
Want to thank him for that. And
checks in the mail, Jim.
He did a real nice article on us for winning the award, the ICE Award for Sports Excellence, local cable award, and we thank Jim for coming out and doing that article on us.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Despite your being there.
I know. Well, that's why the check's in the mail.
Number 32, Brad Phelan.
Phelan on the carry, and the Colts again there for another loss, and there he finally gets up at the bottom of the pile.
Look at this guy, 88, Michael Thompson, second string. He's 6'4", 215 pounds. He's on the second team.
I think the second team is ranked, I think,
fourth
10th.
in the state. Tougher times in practice than they will against certain teams they're going to play this year.
3rd and 18. Fife. Downfield's got his man, Wasil. First down for the Wolves. Now, where was this earlier?
Well,
I know.
Prevent defense.
I know.
But they need this for next week. They need to get something going. Big thing I want to figure out is see Dane Fife. They're going to avoid that mercy rule thing. That's a nice throw,
That's
really.
A nice pass right on the money.
7:05 left in the.
And Wasil going up for it. Good catch. There you see Coach Richardson looking on. He's got to salvage something here, and I think they're doing a good job of it right now. I formation in the backfield. Pro set with the receivers. Fife slant in, complete to Wasilk again, and he shakes a couple tacklers and dives forward, close to a first down again.
This much. Wasilk's game's picked up ever since he ran the kickoff back. You know, I don't know if it's adrenaline or what, but dang, we got to figure out, looking at this Troy schedule, when's the first week that the mercy rule is going to come into effect? As you see the replay and almost the first down.
On the Troy 18.
We have one guy claiming week 3. We'll see who they play that week. I think it's our director.
Pat Collar, yep.
The award-winning
week 3.
Pat Collar.
2nd down and 2. The draw. And Davis runs it forward. Phelan on the carry. Brad Phelan.
And tripped up, I believe, by Mike Kutlich. Week 3, that would be Rochester Adams. That could happen.
You think so, against Adams?
That could happen.
Now, Adams had a good team last year.
And
a very close game that we covered last year.
I'm calling
with Adams, and you weren't there for that.
I was there.
Were you there for Adams?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The onside kick and this and that.
Oh, there you were.
Oh,
there you were.
I'm calling 2 weeks after that against Groves.
Okay.
The mercy rule will happen that week.
I formation.
Oh, he's got
to
the
pass.
fade.
He's got him. Did he get his foot in?
Yep.
Yes.
He got pushed out of bounds. Doesn't matter.
Touchdown, Jeff Bemis.
No. Is it?
Yep.
Is it Bemis?
Yep. 15.
Nice catch. And that's the same guy, Bemis. I don't remember earlier there was a play where Fife went deep right in front of us. That could have been a touchdown, but he underthrew it. Same guy. This time he throws the fade to the corner. Oh, he even got the foot in, even with the push out. Good coverage, actually, by Dave Price, but Bemis out-leaped him for the ball.
Say 13-yard pass. 13-yard pass. And the touchdown from Fife.
You think Jeff Bemis gets a hard time from classmates?
From you, maybe.
Oh, I bet you. I bet he's got a nickname.
The extra point is up. And good.
Good by Ryan Sefton.
You see, if him and Fife can get this pass and catch thing going, they become the big connection in Oakland County, and Fife can get a butthead nickname. And, you know, the obvious.
Bemis, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, our director's kind of.
I follow you.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
That could be huge, though.
I think that's a little bit more respectable now for Clarkston, getting 15 on the board, and now I would look for another onside kick, maybe.
You might as well.
Next week, don't forget Lake Orion against Adams, as we continue high school football action.
And
Saturday and Monday at 8 p.m.
And just remember, all you guys from Adams, it was our director, not us, who was thinking about this mercy rule when Troy plays you guys. I'm saying Groves. And so's Dave Zorn. He is not saying that Troy's going to get the mercy rule on you the week after.
Sorry, I stepped away for a moment. Yes.
But you're back.
I'm back.
Lake Orion, one of the top teams in the second division of the Oakland Activities Association. We're still learning what teams are in what leagues in this new mega conference.
And some great teams. Last year we saw a great rivalry between these two teams, meeting twice. The onside kick doesn't go 10 yards.
But they touch it.
But they touch it.
Troy guys
got it, so Troy will take it just shy of the 50-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. Oh, they're going to mark it on the 50. So
right here, yeah.
One ref said right on the 50.
Recovery by Benson.
So Robbie Benson. You're a big fan of Robbie Benson.
Pretty good. Yeah, what did he do? I don't know if I ever saw anything the guy did.
Played football for the Troy Colts.
Well, I know that. The other one.
Head coach.
He's
Gary
ecstatic.
Griffith. He is. You can tell.
Look at him. Control yourself, Griff.
Remember what he did last year when the offense had the ball?
Let's see. Where is he? No, he's
down
actually
on the end over here.
involved. No, he's too close to the
10
rest
plays,
of the team.
61 yards for the Clarkston Wolves. Their first scoring drive, really, of the game.
Well, that time, Zemke getting his turn to carry the ball at fullback. Dan Griffith, really, he's actually looks involved a little in the offense.
Last year, if you'll remember, he would stand way
30 yards away,
way out of the way of any of the players, and just observe the offense.
Oh, I said it was like the anti-Alfred Casa. Alfred Casa does that when the team's on defense. He doesn't even look at the field. Same thing.
Here we go. 2nd and 9 for the Troy Colts. I formation, pro set. First man through fake. The pitch from Quisenberry back. And gain of maybe a couple yards. Carry by Zemke, Matt Zemke. Carry.
Yeah. Mike Underwood with the tackle. Tim Wisser helping out. All right, now you see here's Griff. Here's the team right there. That's not a big deal there. But
you're not doing good on the clearing.
I know.
Here.
We're not clearing very well.
See, it's right here in the corner.
But we'll show you a little later where he would have been last year. See, just your basic option with the second team offense, and Zemke's getting him, got him into 3rd down and 8 position, 3rd and 7 position.
There we go. But I think the big thing on that play is that you are not the czar of the telestrator yet.
I'm not.
You still.
But I don't claim to be either. Oh,
there it is. Quick pattern, and they got him.
Chris Emery.
Look at that.
Quisenberry gets to throw a pass now. I mean, everybody's in on the act.
Jim Quisenberry to Chris Emery.
Which, if Quisenberry gets a little experience, a little playing time, I don't think he's going to become the starting quarterback this year. But last year, Orchard Lake St. Mary's had Diallo Johnson, all-state quarterback, who every now and then moved out to wide receiver, and they put this guy Marty Matalin or something. I don't know how you say his last name, but he's now their starter. But he'd go in and he'd throw to Diallo Johnson because he's such a great athlete. Well, here you might move Kyle Rance to tight end on a series or two if you need it. Yeah. Put this guy in at quarterback. So, utilize all the abilities.
Quisenberry pitches out again. And Zemke hit back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10 coming up. 2nd and 11 maybe. Let's see.
I think he lost a yard.
Lost it, maybe a yard. Here we go, 2nd and 11.
For what it's worth, we got the chance here. Last year, this would have been Gary Griffith. Sorry. But anyway, there's Griffith now. Where he is now, the first player close to him while they're on offense might have been over here. There he goes. You see? He's getting away. He's going to escape to the goal line. Go, Lee. Get out of here. See, there would never have been anyone within 20 yards of him last year.
I think the people there were setting a block for him. Here we go. Speaking of setting blocks, Zemke again on the carry, and they're working Zemke now. It'll be 3rd and long coming up now for the Colts.
You know what it is.
2:45 and counting down.
Your team scores 37 points. You want to be a part of that. You know? So I'd do it too.
On the Clarkston 34.
3rd and long coming up now for the Colts.
Now do you throw? Give him another pass or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, get your practice in. There's head coach Richardson.
Like I said, I can see somewhere down the road where they use this. They put this guy in for a series just so they can run Rance at tight end.
It's 3rd and 8. Correction on that. 3rd and 8. About too much, and that'll knock them back even more now. So
delay a game.
Foul. Delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's why we won an award, because of that thing right there.
Yeah.
Microphone on the ref.
You think so?
Who else has one? I mean, high school wise. That's the Colt. That's it. Right there.
So you're happy with that?
People watch for that.
Yeah. There we see the sidelines for the Colts. Looking on, cheering on this second team offense that
all right, here we go.
doing a great job. Look at this. Quisenberry to throw. Intercepted.
That's a score.
And
That's a score.
somebody better catch him. And it's Quisenberry who comes back to catch him. And the interception, a big one by number 81, Kaiser, Jason Kaiser.
Threw it right to him.
Yeah.
28-yard return by Kaiser. And Quisenberry is going to stay in on defense, so that must be just the deal. If you're going to be quarterback here, you're playing both ways. Learn to live with it.
Probably game.
You know, it's probably kind of fun to be on this defense.
Let's take a look real quick, if we can, here at that replay. Right there. Who did he want to hit here? Oh, right there.
No, he wanted right there, yeah. 32, I believe. And I had to pick a name neither one of us could say, Ayad Fakuri.
Ooh, back to the action, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Matt Brown, that time.
And is Fife still in at quarterback? As far as we can tell, yes, he is.
So Fife hit his man, and Brown couldn't handle it as Fife hit him right in the numbers. 2nd and 10 now. Clock stopped at 1:43 left in the game. I formation, pro set receivers. The pitch goes back to Phelan. Phelan shakes one and brought down, wrestled down quickly by number 23, Dave Price.
And kept him in bounds, keeps the clock going. And I don't know if, I'm sure Clarkston's going to try to throw one here, try to get on the board one more time.
Here we go, 3rd and about 5 coming up, short 5. Pro set, and clock winding down, you see it there. Wolves want to get on the board one more time. Fife pressured, Fife shakes off another defender, looking downfield, and he'll eat this one. He gained maybe a yard, but a very tough yard for Dane Fife.
You know, he wanted to turn and throw, and if you don't find the open guy right away, you're going to get drilled, and he didn't find him.
Does a great job here of shaking loose. A lot of quarterbacks would have gone down right.
There's the short drop back. There's where he scrambles, throws. Just throws Brandon Whitbread right off of him. Looks right there to throw, doesn't find anyone. Actually, the open guys are down at the other end of the field, which is I think a physical impossibility to make that throw. He had to get what he could.
Picked up a yard.
4th down.
Ran about 50 and picked up 1. Fife to throw the other way. He's got his man. No, dropped. Incomplete. That was a forward pass.
Wouldn't matter
couldn't hang on it.
if it was a fumble, a Troy guy fell on it, but that's 4th down, so that turns it over, 20 seconds left. Well, it matters only in that because it's an incomplete pass, Troy will have to snap the ball once.
Clock is stopped at 20 seconds. 20 seconds left in the game, and the Colts will just take the snap, and that'll do it.
Go home and Griffith will
start
tell
working
them
on those rings, like you said, right?
Well, no, I'm saying don't do it because I know what happens when you do.
Yeah.
You lose.
Yeah. That's why I say, hey, you know, it's the first game of the season.
Again, you can't help but think about it. Believe me, it's just
long way to go, though.
Coach can tell you all he wants. The kids are still going to read the paper.
And the Colts do run a play. Look at this. Zemke picks up the first down, and there's still 13 seconds left. Second team offense wants to run some plays here.
That stops the clock till the chains move. I don't think they're going to take another snap, though, once they get the chains set.
They still want to run a play. I bet you they get another one off here.
It's going to be hard. There's only 5 seconds left.
Zemke in the backfield. You saw him.
Nope.
And that'll do it. The Troy Colts, state champions last season, and they make their mark this season against the Clarkston Wolves with an impressive victory, 37-15. We'll be back to wrap it up right after these messages.
High school football is back, and Channel 63 is the place to see it. Every week this fall, TCI Sports travels the Oakland County area to find the game of the week. Our next game features 2 teams on the rise. The Lake Orion Dragons taking on the Adams Highlanders. That's the TCI Sports Game of the Week. Next week, Saturday and Monday on Channel 63.
And the final here at Troy High School, 37-15, the Troy Colts over the Clarkston Wolves. And it was all Troy Colts tonight, Joe.
Yeah, they showed why they're ranked so high trying to defend their state title. Looks like they might be able to do it. You look at those passing yards. Kyle Rance, 13 for 17 for 163 of them, 2 touchdowns. Teron Adams led the rushing, 27 carries, 126 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Drew Patrick, 6 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Just dominated them completely, even ended up dominating time of possession.
Very impressive for the state champion Troy Colts coming back this season. Next week, don't forget to tune in. We'll have another contest for you. The Lake Orion Dragons taking on the Adams Highlanders. That's Saturday and Monday at 8 p.m. right here on TCI 63. And the final score here at Troy High School. The Troy Colts 37, the Clarkston Wolves 15. For Joe Abramson and our hardworking TCI staff, I'm Dave Zorin. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week from Troy, Athens.